everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio K-Man app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio K-Man app
is where you can listen to Radio K-Man everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiokman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio K-Man everywhere.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio K-Man's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio K-Man's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us on another wonderful Wednesday's edition of Talk Today. If you have your calendar set up like mine and you just have the first letter of each day in the English alphabet, not known as martes, miércoles, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if you just do AMTW, well, look at what the rest of the days say as you get to Friday. Well, what is and what was and what is to be is even going to be better as we start off the things with good friends from the Botanic Park. And we're going to have some open line, and then we're going to get into some political discussions. And then later on, well, maybe even some dark chocolate. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio K-Man's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thank you for joining us and to the QU2 Botanic Park manager, Mr. John Loris. Always a pleasure, man. I think the only thing better than maybe having you in the studio is we out lines in the water. A sun to our backs and a cold one in the cooler.
Yeah, typically on March 27th, 28th, every year we host our orchid show. The weather is fantastic.
Yeah.
Respect to Peanut out for the fishing tournament as well this weekend. As usual, I cannot participate. But more importantly, the Queen Elizabeth II Botanic Park and the Cayman Islands Orchid Society are hosting our annual orchid show and sale again at the Botanic Park. Last year we didn't have one. Thank you to COVID. We did the drive-by pickup order show and sale that is. And we did well, but the orchid show and sale is quite a important part on the calendar in the Cayman Islands. It's been going on for nearly 25 years, and it's a very important fundraising weekend. It gives people the ability to learn about orchids, to purchase orchids that are not available anywhere else on the island. We've got great music, great food, informal talks, and just a great weekend to come out and visit the Botanic Park.
Yeah, that's the thing, we live in a space and a place. Yesterday a friend introduced me to new acquaintances, and whether you're exercising or whether you're outside complaining about the heat and the sweat, whether you're in your garden, the fact that we live in this time and this place and enjoy what it has to offer, but yet we let the Sundays pass without a solitude, without the respite, without the company and the conversation, the good people. And here you're offering up a weekend for families, for that individual, whether you're an orchid aficionado or whether you just want something new. A short drive to the north side, seems like a vacation in itself.
The roads are all getting redone. It's an easier drive than it has been in the years past. No comment. And Definitely. Special event admissions are $10 for adults, $5 for children 16 and under. We've got orchids from, I believe, $15 up to well over $100. So we've got orchids that range in beginner orchids to orchids that people just like to display in their house. And then we have the collectible orchids as well, a very limited quantity of collectibles that kind of first time available for purchase anywhere in the world. We've got 3 main suppliers this year. Moats Orchids from Homestead, Florida, a very well-known, respected Vandaceous orchid grower. We've got Hamlin Orchids from Jamaica. Mr. Claude Hamilton is quite a grower, breeder, hybridizer of many different varieties of orchids. And then we have Living Colors, which supplies us with the most and largest quantity of flowering orchids, the Phalaenopsis, Dendrobiums, Vandas as well. So we've got something for everybody. Again, it's just a great weekend at the park. The food is great. We've got music that's been sponsored by the Department of Tourism. Cayman Airways and Customs have been super helpful on getting these plants to us on time, actually a day earlier than usual. Our regular sponsors, DMS, has been fantastic for us. The Tourism Attraction Board, Vigoro, Sticks and Stones, all big partners in this weekend's event.
And as you shared, you're talking about from beginners orchids, whether they come with 3 wheels or not, to the collector's editions, from the Dendrobiums and the like. For those of us who would be sort of, budding orchid enthusiasts, I see my own mother and her sisters having their orchids on their trees, having them almost like grandchildren, the way that they gingerly and lovingly tend to them. If a person wanted to get into orchids, what it would be like? I mean, if you're getting into fishing, well, you don't need a boat, you can go from the shore, but then you better know what you're doing. So for the person who sees an orchid, a couple of questions. The perception is that it's a difficult thing to do and to tend to because they're so, fragile and gentle. Is it that way? Where do you start and how do you continue?
It's definitely a perception. Orchids have this aura about them, and especially during the last COVID year, people have really grown an interest in growing plants, not just for their beauty, to take them away from the stresses of daily life, but food crops as well. But orchids are sensitive plants. They don't like to be changed a lot, but they can be looked after very simply. Dendrobiums or Phalaenopsis would be a great beginner plant to look after. When you get into the Cattleyas, when you get into the Vandaceous stuff, they definitely do require specialized care, a lot more water in the case of Vandaceous plants. But that is another reason that I would recommend joining the Cayman Islands Orchid Society. They meet monthly. There's great information that is shared with the society. We've been working with them for well over 20 years, and they're just a great local group that helps everybody benefit from growing orchids.
Yeah, Mr. Dutton, those guys are amazing. But as you listen to, I had an orchid. It was a silk one. It didn't survive, man. I think I might have been watering too much. I'm not sure what was the problem with that one. But there is that. It was an image I saw way back when. Don't remember the photographer, and it reminded me of sort of a perspective that you would see in Japan somewhere. There's this single orchid, just potted, placed against a wooden backdrop, and the way it was, I wish I still had that image, but I want to recreate that some space in my place, the orchid there. But I'm told if I put an orchid in, say, a bathroom area or inside the house, that I may be asking for trouble. The silk one didn't survive. Would the real one do it? I don't know.
That's the thing. Orchids, you can grow orchids in a bunch, but this year our orchid display is actually going to focus specifically on the orchid itself. Typically, we do create a creative display inside the visitor center. This year, we're creating a judging display, which basically the individual plant will be focused on amongst black fabric, so you can see the intricacies, just like you just spoke about. You can take the time and look at the flower shape, how it grows, its habit in general, and there may be a plant that you could pick and you could put in your bathroom As long as it's not in a direct south-facing light, it still may be fine for you.
Well, maybe I need a gentle hand of a caring companion to make sure that works. But when we come back from the break, right, there's some more, things that transpire at the Orchid Society. John, you give us an insight. Maybe we can remind the public about the Orchid Show. Another couple of minutes with John Lawrence, the QU2, park manager and an avid fisherman. Yeah, like me, a good taste of a fried barra with fritters is always good, but just a day out in the boat, just as good as well. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
At Subway, we know a meal isn't quite complete without a side, and that's why we're introducing waffle fries. Subway's waffle fries are oven-baked softness with extra crispy edge, giving a satisfying taste to be enjoyed as is or in any of Subway's dipping sauces. Order waffle fries as a side item for $2 or make it a meal deal with any sandwich or salad with a 20-ounce drink and waffle fries for an additional $3 or a 30-ounce or bottle drink and waffle fries for an additional $3.50. Subway, eat fresh.
And now, a paid political message from Georgetown West candidate, Dr. Kenrick Webster.
Hi, this is Dr. Kenrick Webster, your independent candidate representing the electoral district of Georgetown West. With just a few weeks to go, I aim to apply my passion, dedication, and track record serving the people of the Cayman Islands through my experiences in law enforcement, tourism, and youth development, to support your Georgetown West to be an inclusive, safe, and thriving community for all. If you believe in togetherness and kick-starting positive change for our community, then your vote is safe with me. By voting and instilling your trust in me, I can assure you that I will listen to you and put your needs at the heart of action to ensure that your contribution is acknowledged, valued, and celebrated. With me, Dr. Kenrick Webster, as your MP, there's nothing that we can't accomplish together. Rest assured, your voice will be heard to bring about long-lasting change for Georgetown West and the wider Cayman community. I am Dr. Kenrick Webster, and I approve this message.
The proceeding was a paid political message by Georgetown West candidate, Dr. Kenrick Webster.
I've got some beautiful clothes. I know just where they go. Puritan Cleaners.
Puritan Cleaners would like to remind customers the closing time for all stores is 5:30 p.m. Savannah Countryside, 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Elgin Avenue, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Puritan Cleaners, 337 Eastern Avenue. Drive-through, rain or shine, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Now 10% off prepaid on $20 orders and up. Household and wedding dresses remain at standard offer. 10% off on prepaid orders. Call 949-7104. Puritan Cleaners. You feel good when you look good.
Workforce Opportunities and Residency Cayman advises holders of permanent residency PR facilities to take immediate steps to settle any outstanding fees to avoid potential loss of this facility. Fees more than 90 days past due date should be paid immediately. Payments can be made via debit or credit cards, online payment using the Work Payment Portal, or via checks delivered to the Apollo House West office on Mary Street. For PR holders needing further assistance, call Work Customer Care at 945-9672.
This Wednesday night at 7 p.m., our new Progressives leader, Roy McTaggart, will be at Snug Harbor with me, Joey Hugh. Come and hear our plans for a stronger, safer future for you. Join us at 7 p.m. this Wednesday, March 24th, Snug Harbor Park. See you there.
Put your hands for the Progressives. Serving you is the objective. We going all the way. Progressives.
This is a paid advertisement by the Progressives.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Yeah. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And we will have some open line momentarily as we invite you to call and share your thoughts. But truly, we live in a beautiful, blessed place. It isn't only because of what God has imbued in terms of natural beauty or how things may transpire organically. It's the wonderful people that have come and live amongst us, made this their home, made an invaluable contribution as we welcome and invite them into our lives. It's a great place. John Lawrence, you mistaken for a West Bay. You say, no, he's from North Side. Some say, wait a minute, he must be from the Bragg. John, just a man. What's happening, man?
Not too much. Listen, guys, I just want to say thanks for having us again. This weekend's our biggest weekend of the year. The Botanic Park, like most businesses on the island, are going through struggles, to be honest. But this weekend is our weekend to shine. I hope everyone comes out to the Orchid Show and Sale. Botanic Park, Orchid Society have worked hard. Volunteers, staff, everyone's been at it full on this week and will be full on through to the weekend. We open at 9 o'clock on Saturday, closing at 4 p.m. Same again on Sunday, whatever is left over. Please don't come early. We're not going to let you in anyways. The gates are always rattled at 8:55, but we have to be fair and just to everybody that shows up at the park. And I just want to touch on a couple quick things also going on. We're hosting an art camp, the Easter art camp with Joseph Betty. You can contact myself, info@botanic-park.ky. And also during the month of April, beginning on the 11th, we will be doing yoga with Bliss Yoga on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. You can contact Bliss Yoga or also info@Botanic Park for more information on that. Again, the park is just a great place to visit. Support your local jewels, really, that are right in your backyard. Don't just drive past us when you're going to Rum Point or Kaibo or to the beach. Stop by, take a breather, take in nature, have a walk, release your blood pressure a little bit, and see what we have done for everybody.
As you referenced that, we know this weekend is the Orchid Show. There's the sale, and it gives us a chance to maybe develop a new hobby, maybe to improve on what is already a keen interest, to develop a wonderful, network of similar enthusiasts who have, no pun intended, growing experience.
Good pun.
Good pun, man. I'm telling you, words and wordplay. But ordinarily then, on Saturdays and Sundays in particular, when most of us are probably trying to either find something to occupy our time or want something to sort of decompress, as it were. Hours normally on the regular weekends, other than this weekend, still Saturdays and Sundays.
Saturday and Sundays are obviously our busiest days of the week, 9 a.m. till 4:30 p.m. Resident admissions during a non-event is only 5 CI. Mm-hmm. We hope come mid-April to have a portion of the Children's Garden accessible for everyone to use. It's an ongoing project. We're working on it every day to get that available for our children of the Cayman Islands. Mm-hmm. But not only that, where can you come and visit for $5 and contribute something that's very important to the Cayman Islands?
And that's the thing, you said, the jewel, it's almost a national treasure. Now, whether you're, a person who loves the outdoors, or whether you're a person who is somewhat enamored with plants and the like, maybe some of us don't appreciate what the park is and what it is. You'll help us. For someone who's never gone or hasn't gone, since back in the day when we were first starting this construction, two things. What are they to expect when they come, and what will they see and how they should address? So we come to the park, we enter the park, we come through the admission, we pay $5, even if you give them a tour, and they walk through and take us visually.
A little snippet through entering through the visitor center. You have the option of just going through the park on your own, paying your $5 fee. Mm-hmm. We also, in collaboration with the National Trust, on the weekends you can pay additional $5 to see a behind-the-scenes Blue Iguana tour, which is an incredible benefit for a lot of people who never get to see a blue iguana. Mm-hmm. And it's the only blue iguana. It's an endemic animal that's only found in the Cayman Islands. So that's another benefit in itself. But walking through the park, you're going to see our lovely Orchid Boardwalk. Mm-hmm. Passing that, you'll see the beginning and partially completed Children's Garden. Mm-hmm. Passing on through that, you'll see the Rankin House traditional Cayman homestead, which is the original house where Mr. Oswald Rankin was born, circa 1895-ish. Mm-hmm. Replicates a traditional Cayman home. Passing that, you'll see a xerophytic garden. Xerophytic means plants that don't require additional water. Water is our second largest expense at the park. And then we'll be looping through a wonderful color garden, which is exotic plants mixed with native plants. And then moving on through that, you're going to see our lake, which is drying up thanks to no rain lately. And entering onto our woodland trail. A woodland trail is about a mile-long walk.
Mm-hmm. And as you listen to John, you can see the visual representation. Lake was probably one of my favorite parts, but so a mile-long walk.
Yeah, and the lake is great. Even though it is drying up, you do see a lot of birds that are aquatic birds that are active in the lake. You see right now a lot of birds that are passing through, seasonal birds.
Mm-hmm.
And then entering up on the woodland trail, which is probably the most important ecologically part of the park, we have about 60% of all our native flora located within this 1 mile loop. So that's a real scientifically important aspect to the Botanic Park as well. You want to give yourself at least an hour and a half. Some people spend all day. Some people walk through way too fast. But a minimum an hour and a half, 2 hours would be great. Pack a lunch, sit down, relax, lower your blood pressure, and just have some time with nature.
There it is, man. And did I imagine this, or is this a part of what I think? I looked at a tower, somewhere there.
There is a tower.
Oh, there. Okay. See, I thought for some reason.
Yep, there is a tower. One of the most important parts of the children's garden is the creation of the observation tower, which goes up to about 37 feet tall. Thank you to CUC for installing the major supporting posts.
Mm-hmm.
We've got a taller tower which goes up one level, and then we have the large tower which is 3 levels. You can see the tree lines, you can see the south coast, and you can see all the way to East End. You can actually see Shetty Hospital up on the top floor. It's an amazing viewpoint. There's nothing else like it on the island, and it's something that is worth the trip in itself. It's just really, really cool place to be up.
Yeah, my brothers remind me that on a good day, if you look close enough, you'll see AB out in Harvard fishing in the north. So I just saying. Maybe Cap Eugene is probably right there with him, making sure he got hunks to fish with. Look hard, you might see it.
Yeah.
No, it's unfortunate, and I'm as guilty of it, because I think we take it for granted, right? I remember being in Canada sometime way back when, being up on the west coast of the U.S. sometime way back when, and seeing, their, for want of a better word, their botanical gardens, and thinking, oh, they're very nice.
Mm-hmm.
But we have it here too, and the natural flora and fauna. John, we do have a quick call coming in.
Sure.
John Loris, the park manager at the Botanic Park. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling. Good afternoon, John.
Hey, good afternoon. Man. How are you today?
As the same, rough, regular, poor, sober, and ugly,
Ugly,
Thankful
man.
And blessed.
Hey.
Thankful and blessed.
There you go, my friend.
To any of those who have not been to the Botanic Park, you're missing a lot.
Yep.
It is just breathtaking, relaxing. I mean, anything you can think of good. It's the Botanic Park. I've been there several times, and every time I go, I enjoy it more. And I've been to the tower, and it's breathtaking when you get up there and look back and you see the lakes and the water lilies and the birds.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I like how you say that, man.
And it's more than worth the $5. Trust me.
Yeah. And John is saying for an extra 50 cents, he'll guide you.
I know John very well.
Yeah, won't hold against you though. Okay.
All right. But yes, it is something worth seeing, and I always recommend people to go there.
Mm-hmm.
Just awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
The amount of foliage that you see there, and not only just see it, but they actually have little plaques telling you what they are, what they were used for, and so forth.
Right. Well, listen, thanks, man.
And the bonus is, while walking the trail, you will see an iguana, guaranteed. A blue iguana at that.
And if not, you know what? You have the knowledge that it's there.
Yeah, and if not, you can still pay an extra $5, I think it is, and go and see them as well.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Yeah. You're right, man. You're right, and it's a reminder. That's probably something that another reason why that whole thing that's transpiring still to this day, where we're seeing countries imprison their citizens. I mean, Easter coming up, and Germany is gonna extend this stuff. Last year, we couldn't go and socialize even if we wanted to, and to my sisters who would take, our mother in particular, the park was a favorite stop, almost every weekend. Not just the plants, but the outing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just, so relaxing.
Yeah, man.
And then, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly all year round it's cool because of the shaded trees and so forth that is there.
Yeah, man. All right, man. All the best to you, and enjoy. Thank you, for taking time to share a thought with us. Hopefully we hear from you again later on. All right?
Thank you for those words.
Blessings, my blessings. Well, John, I know you have to get back to work, and, even to do the drive is peaceful. You still make it a productive day. In closing, maybe a couple of quick things. I wanted to be mindful as you look through the indigenous and endemic species, as it were. The strawberry trees and logwoods are some of my favorite, without question.
Sure.
And we still have those up there in abundance. Right?
Plenty of them.
Can I get in strawberry trees to make some fish pots?
No problem. We'll talk after the show.
I just kidding. That is just a reference to perhaps a practice that...
A cultural importance.
Yeah, and that stick was important, but for me, just to see a clump of the strawberry sticks, wow, it's amazing. But then logwood as well,
Mm-hmm.
It's welcoming and intimidating. It's inviting, and yet, sort of almost, keeps you at bay in life.
Most definitely.
But times again for that walk. Park's open normally. I know this weekend is, but normally 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock to 4:30. This weekend is 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Admission is $10 for adults. Special event pricing, $5 for children, 16 and under. Come out and support the park. Support the Cayman Islands Orchid Society. Not just for the orchids that are available, but just in general. Enjoy what we have for everybody on the island.
Yeah, man. Listen, thank you to you and the staff, to all the volunteers, to the wonderful members of the Orchid Society, for those who've seen firsthand, not just when they're setting up, but how they prepare, for the Orchid Show, for their willingness to share. It's amazing. Even me, who probably prefer a mango, over a flowering plant, but prefer company conversation over solitude sometimes. This is a good place to get it all.
Most definitely. The work that goes on behind the scenes, most people don't see, obviously, and it's a lot of work that goes on. It takes months in preparation to get everything together, and it's coming together as we speak, and as soon as I get off this mic, I'll be back at it.
All right, man. Safe drives to you. God's willing, we'll catch up very soon, all right?
Thank you very much. Thank you, Radio Cayman.
Most blessings. And the Orchid Society with the Botanic Park, the Orchid Show is this weekend. We'll probably remind you about it, but it's Saturday and Sunday. Now we're going to pause and take a break, and when we come back, there'll be some open line. A caller is on the other end of the phone, and when he answers, he'll say, hello? It's not Susan, it's a call. So call, share your thoughts.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Get ready, Cayman. The meeting you have all been waiting for. The Alliance will be at the ICCI Car Park in Newlands on Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Listen to your Bodentown representatives, Dwayne John Seymour and Alva Suku. Newcomer for Bodentown West, Vincent Frederick. Your Premier, Alden McLaughlin, and new Progressives leader, Roy McTaggart. This Thursday, 7:30 p.m. at the ICCI Car Park in Newlands. This is a paid advertisement by the Progressives.
Why work with a Suriba agent? We can tell you that those letters represent a proven understanding of the real estate market in the Cayman Islands. But it also means so much more than that. Our trained Suriba agents are committed to ethics, integrity, and excellence of practice. It's all about confidence, knowing you are working with a qualified Suriba agent. As members of Suriba, your trust is our promise. To find a Suriba agent today or to search thousands of listens, visit Suriba.com. Suriba, the mark of excellence in real estate.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic.
Your life connected.
The Ministry of Education provides funding to assist Caymanian children who turn 3 years old before September the 1st to attend an early childhood centre. This funding is available through the Early Childhood Assistance Programme, ECAP. Parents and guardians are now invited to submit ECAP applications for the upcoming 2021 to 2022 academic year. Application forms are available at the Government Administration Building, early childhood centres across the island, or online from the Ministry's website at www.education.gov.ky. For further information, please call the Early Childhood Unit at 244-3155. Completed application forms may be emailed to ecap@gov.ky, that's ECAP@gov.ky, or delivered to the Government Administration Building.
Gets it right. When you need a bleach to make your scene clean, get Chlorado Bleach for the ultimate white and the ultimate clean. Chlorado Clean is always seen.
The ultimate clean is a Chlorado Clean.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us as we want you to be a part of today's discussion here on this another wonderful Wednesday edition of Talk Today. 9498037, toll free with the compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255. Those are the numbers you can use to call in, for the record. Come again Friday morning, but use them now while we're on Talk Today. Of course, 925-3261. As John Lawrence, the Botanic Park manager, reminds us, in collaboration with the Cayman Islands Orchid Society, there is another wonderful opportunity for us to be part of the annual Orchid Show. If he's given up his fishing time as he has year after year after year, it's going to be another good fishing weekend. He spends the whole week helping to prepare, for us as the public to come out and whether we're going to get into orchids, whether we're going to expand our collection, whether we just want to see another wonderful reason why we live in such a wonderful place. Well, whether you come, by yourself, whether you come with friends and family, or whether you make an outing with a new group, it's a great place to share. And it could be not just, for this weekend, but this may be a good introduction if you haven't been before, haven't been in a long time. I say this not just as an attempt to, promote their efforts, but for us to be truly reminded of the treasures that we have within the society that oftentimes we ignore, or we never embrace, and we seldom support and promote. Let's go to the phones though. It's open line on Talk Today. Good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
My friend, how are you today, man?
Better than yesterday a little bit.
See that? And then the promise of tomorrow may not be phenomenal, but as we look with hopeful expectation, it can be indeed better.
Right.
So,
the future.
What is the positive messages you have for us today?
I feel sorry for the PPM party. That's what is the positive thing.
You feel sorry for them? Well, okay, so you have compassion. All right.
Last night meeting, I laughed, the premier begging people to come and sit down in the seat to show they have audience because nobody listening to them.
Mm-hmm.
They bring in from every district 2, 3, 5 people from here, from there. They trying their best to bring their family member to listen to them.
Were you there?
Yeah.
Can you confirm?
I was around.
Okay.
I don't leave their meetings without I listen to everything they're saying.
Okay. Can I ask you, just confirm for me? I wasn't there. I have, as part of my work schedule, for my own edification, I've endeavored to try to attend some of the meetings and watch the audience reaction, listen to what is being shared from the platform and the like, and not to engage so much in the politicking that transpires. But I'm been told repeatedly today now that there were a lot of red shirts draped across chairs. Is that true?
Well,
so
I don't.
Okay, at the meeting there were empty chairs with red shirts on them. Like the parade of chairs, I think I heard one or two people, is that something, because you were there in person?
That's a lot of empty chairs.
Okay.
And Number two is a lot of empty chairs, and was about 40 people in that meeting. You know, when the premier, if Makiva Bush, for example, come to town, you will find 1,000 people will listening to him. Even whatever people will say, he's whatever they will say about Mr. Bush, but the man will generate a big crowd.
Okay, so help us then, right?
The other night, you see a meeting in Georgetown West. A big crowd was listening to Mr. Solomon. A big crowd was listening to Mr. Kenneth Bryan. A big crowd was, but that show you the direction of this country are saying no to every candidate. The PPM, they are doing their best, to use government asphalt in this road. In the last year, they put asphalt in this road. They are going fix something there, put light in the street, like they're trying to do here and there, in the last term for them. But that's not what the people want from them. The people want from them to work all the 4 years. For example, Dwayne, if you look at areas like Georgetown North, Georgetown West, Georgetown, all of these areas. For example, you walk in Rock Hall, you walk in what I don't want to say the bad name for that area or
is it a
Dog City?
Yeah. Okay, I hear you.
It's not Dog City, but it's
Watlers Road.
Watlers
Road, right? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, and maybe
what past 8 years, what Mr. Joey Hugh done past 4 years for Rock Hall, for Watlers Road. There is anything changed there? There is anything in the ground you can show me you done in 8 years? No. There is no good. Even the park being abandoned from long time. You go to Georgetown West, for example, we have MLA past 4 years, David White. The park run down. He never, which the park in the 2009 until when Mr. Solomon get elected, he renovated the park. He get a donation from everywhere. He renovated the park. Now he is going to do a meeting in that park.
Okay, so help.
Park never done nothing in it.
So help us to understand. Right? Let's stick on the positive part. We can still be constructive and critical, but let's look at the positivity of what lies ahead. Right. So we see in your mind the failures and shortcomings of political figures and wannabes and what have you. Take us forward now. What is it that you think the voting public as a whole should be looking for when they go to elect, and B, what is it that you want, right? Since you have such a a great insight into what's transpiring, and as you shared publicly many times, you're following and so on, what do you want this country to look like in 5 years from now, and preferably in 50 years from now? So help us.
Number one, we want to see a leader, elected people who show attention for small local companies. Like, for example, when you build, for example, affordable homes, you don't go like PPM now. They did give it to big company to build those affordable homes. But in the time of 2009, when they built those affordable homes, the UDP government, Mr. Solomon was responsible about this.
Right, but again,
I'm not just talking about passive. He give small contractors.
Right.
The difference is we need to support our small contractors.
Okay.
We need to employ Caymanians. In other countries, for example, if you come into a company want to put out a job, the government have to force you to take a local person before any foreigner. that is how it is everywhere in the world. I can understand that every day. Look at this job fair they did in the Marriott.
Mm-hmm.
They say they want to hire Caymanians, but majority of the people being hired is not Caymanians. A lie they're telling the general public. They are saying, unemployment gone down. This government telling lie to the people when they're saying unemployment gone down. It's gone up. Unemployed Caymanians gone up. A lot of Caymanians out of job today, and a lot of local people out of job. They are living in a hard time. People are in light bill is gone up. I remember they told us they want to review the prices of gas. This government never done nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the worst thing ever. You listen to the premier speak last night, and I done this, I done that. But what you done to make and improve the life of the people? You saying about Sammy Jackson not elected in Red Bay? Let me tell you, Dwayne, and this country gonna surprise that Sammy Jackson gonna win the seat and Alden McLaughlin gonna lose that seat because he think, I get elected 6 times or 5 times.
Well, Amjad, I hear you, and it's interesting to get that perspective from you. Thank you, though, respectfully, for always being so pointed in your presentation. With that, let's pause and hit the headline news, and when we come back, we invite you to be part of what transpires thereafter.
Community radio with a different appeal. The voice of the people. Security through adversity.
Stuck on you.
Radio for all time.
You're listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only 2 species that we have on the island.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Shanda Gallego from Radio Cayman's newsroom. A 23-year-old man of Bodden Town was arrested by the police on suspicion of burglary on Saturday, March 20th. The arrest was made following a burglary incident that took place at a residence in the Lookout Gardens area of Bodden Town on March 19th, where he entered the premise by causing damage to a window and stole a quantity of cash. The man has since been charged with burglary and possession of ganja. He appeared in court on Monday. Turning to international news now, the European Commission has proposed tougher controls on COVID vaccine exports after it accused UK-Swedish firm AstraZeneca of failing to honor its contract to supply EU countries. The plans to go before EU leaders on Thursday stopped short of a ban but could inflame tensions with the UK. Any shipment would be assessed on the destination country's rate of vaccinations and vaccine exports. Meanwhile, 29 million AZ doses have been inspected in a raid in Italy. A new double mutant variant of the coronavirus has been detected from samples collected in India. Officials are checking if the variant, where 2 mutations come together in the same virus, may be more infectious or less affected by vaccines. Some 10,787 samples from 18 Indian states also showed up 771 cases of known variants, 736 of the UK, 34 of the South African, and 1 Brazilian. Officials say the variants are not linked to a spike in cases in India. And authorities in Hong Kong and Macau have suspended the rollout of BioNTech's COVID-19 vaccine, citing a packaging defect found in their first batch of doses. Both governments said in statements Wednesday they had received a letter from BioNTech and its Chinese partner indicating an issue with the seal on individual vials in batch number 210102. According to government figures as of Tuesday, 150,200 people in Hong Kong had received their first dose of the BioNTech vaccine, which outside of China is partnered with U.S. pharmaceutical giant Pfizer. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And we want you to be a part of our discussion. At 1:15, we're going to have political candidate Miss Sabrina Turner join us. And between now and 1:15, let's have some more open line as we invite you to be a part of our discussion. 1-800-534-8255 or 949-8037. Likewise, you can WhatsApp 925-3261. As one of our listeners reminds us, that a lot more is transpiring in our society, and sometimes we seem to forget about it all. And as you were sending through the link for the World Cup qualifier came on in Suriname this afternoon at 5 p.m. We still have football to play. We still have students to teach. We still have our elderly and our parents to love. We still have, but we all still need to make time for each other, and perhaps be more encouraged to stand in the gap, more willing to step out and do something positive and productive. Not necessarily out of a comfort zone, but perhaps more deliberately and directly to improve in the lot of many. Take, for instance, the unyielding cry of Mr. Rupert, and perhaps more so, it becomes the hue and the call of many and recently relative to the way we are impacting our environment. So earlier this morning, I had a chance to accept what I thought was a gracious invite to sit with a group of, if they wouldn't mind me calling them, young people, all right, whose collective years of experience probably number, many more than some of us have already had on this, this earth as it is. But yet the energy and enthusiasm, the industriousness, their seemingly continuing call on their lives to contribute to Cayman's community reminds us that shouldn't pass when we retire. It should be something that we acquire after we get an education. It should be something that is, within us, ingrained. Let's go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
A fellow whose, name crossed my mind earlier, and I have to reach out a call to you. So if I don't call you, just remember the code word currency when I call you. All right. How you doing, man?
Hello?
Yeah, hello. You can hear me?
Yeah, man. Yeah. I didn't know where you were coming from then.
I know. Because you see, sometimes when you throw people off, you realize if they're on the...
Well, you did a pretty good job.
It worked then.
Anyway, let me get on with my subject. I hear that Jordanian just now.
There you go.
About Alden begging people come to his meeting.
Mm-hmm.
To start with, people don't know how to go meetings anymore. They're being live streamed.
Uh-huh.
And what the hell is he worrying about PPM for?
Mm-hmm.
And he should be glad that Alden is running again. Alden don't need to run again. So I don't know what he on there about Alden begging people to come to his meeting.
Mm.
And tell him my name is Curtis Conley in case you want to retaliate with me. But Alden don't need to beg nobody to come to his meeting.
Can I ask of you, right?
Yeah, man.
Some of us love politics. We love the campaigning. We love going to meetings or hearing the political banter. Some of us couldn't care less, right?
Uh-huh.
Some of us who've been around it, maybe because of our parents, maybe because of just our interests or communities, what have you. Do you think that this is the last 20 years, let's go from 2000 to now, just argument's sake, what is your perspective on the way our politics has evolved, in your view? Has it?
Honestly?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I know we got vote buying and all that and stuff, but we got genuine politicians.
Mm-hmm.
And going back with the PPM, progressive, whatever you want to call them,
mm-hmm.
I think they did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Cayman Islands, I know people say about this selling out and this and that, but we've been afloat for the last 4 years, and the progressive proved themselves for the last year with the coronavirus.
Okay. How did they do prior to that, you think? I mean, last year, we probably would say, they proved themselves.
Well, they must have been doing good. Why they didn't have to touch the $500 million what they borrowed.
Okay. And do you think, I mean, I want to be careful how I say this. One, not to seem like I'm, leading you to an answer. I don't wish to do that. But also to try to remain as impartial. I don't use the word neutral because you put yourself in neutral as a car. You can rev the engine all you want, but you're going away, right?
Yeah.
So impartial and objective. Neutral is not a word that I really think we should even consider. So given that and given where we are and looking at what has transpired globally, do you think the success of our country, and in Cayman perspective specifically, do you think is the actions of the government or the civility and the responses of the populace? So Cayman has done well, the UK and the US seemingly not so. But the same strategies in terms of imprisoning people, putting restrictions on groupings, all the stuff that is done here was done there, but we have been better. Is it that our people responded better, or is it the government?
I would say the government and our people also. I mean, I would say the government.
Okay, and you that's your perspective,
Yeah,
I guess.
And let me make it clear though.
Yes, sir.
I live in Cayman, not
Grand Cayman. Yeah,
So I'm not.
I know
one
that.
Of those that I'm not one of those that is trying to tell people in Grand Cayman about this and that.
Yes, sir.
Like how people in Grand Cayman try to tell us about Cayman Brac.
Yeah.
But I would say that this is the best Cayman Brac I've ever been off yet.
Yeah.
I know some of it is because people can't travel abroad now, so a lot of people from Grand Cayman is coming to the Brac.
Yep. As we should have been all along.
I'm actually pleased with our government. I know a lot of people don't agree with me, but I can understand their point. But the point I'm making is I don't know where this Jordanian come in, how he has so much to say. He probably can't even vote. So what in the hell is he worried about Alden not getting people or whatever? But I don't go to meetings anymore. I went to Elvis a couple of minutes the other night, but everything is live stream now. So
exactly. You have the comfort and convenience of it, right?
Yeah.
But isn't that interesting though, right? Whether it's a person like the Jordanian caller earlier who may or may not be able to vote at present, but you also have organized groupings, right? We may call them interest groups, lobbying groups. We may call them associations, organizations, NPOs, whatever we call them. I'm repeatedly reminded of how the collective voice, where people have come together, that they can exert a level of influence on the political agenda, on society and the like. Is that where we are sort of sorely lacking as voters? We're not sufficiently engaged, whether you want to say organized, informed, and active?
I don't know, but and I don't have a problem with that, the Caymanians, but I don't think that any foreigner should get into Caymanian politics.
Should I extend to money? They shouldn't be allowed, or they should be illegal. Let me be very specific.
Exactly.
For them, is that what you're saying? So governments of the day shouldn't, or politicians shouldn't take any money from any entity that is non-Caymanian.
Caymanian, yeah.
Okay.
I would say that, yeah.
That is, that's what I heard you say. I won't put words in your mouth, but that's a very strong point. Some would say, no, that can't happen, but wow. All right, man.
Yeah?
Awesome, my friend.
All right, well, I'm going to lay down now and listen to the Jordanian. I know you're going to call it back.
You know what? I'm not going to say nothing. What else said? No weed, no what?
No weed, no what? One old trailer. Since I'm on this, there's one old trailer out by the road on the south side that some other abandoned. And I've been asking, I don't know how long to get it moved. And nobody not moved it, DEH, public work, whoever. Today now I see it turn over and look like taking parts off it. So I put on my Facebook post this morning and I tagged Mr. Colonel. No trailer moved, no vote.
So, okay, well, you know what? It will be moved. All right, bro?
Okay, I know.
All the best, man.
Thank you. Take care.
Catch you soon. All right, let's take one more call for the break. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
How are you today?
Hey, I'm good, man. How are you?
Listen. I thank God for mercies, grace, love, protection, provision, for good family and friends. Sometimes the taste of dark chocolate and the promise of a fish tea. I'm blessed, man.
A good list of everything that I think
that is good, man.
Need, so.
That was it.
Yeah. I just wanted to call in today as a reminder to the listening public. You may have had other callers come on before. Sorry if I'm repeating, but I think it's worth repeating if it was already.
Go right ahead, John. Go right ahead,
man. With regards to the objection to the DART pad or planned area development down by the Kimpton.
Just north of the Kimpton?
Broken record on this now, but the proposal as it was presented on a particular document that was being circulated around social media and in the newspaper, the major proposal that they have with regards to that canal under the West Bay Road.
Over that bridge,
huh?
Yeah.
that to me is clear and present danger to the Cayman Islands and to the West Bayers in particular. They're at the most danger for what could possibly come out of that canal being dredged out basically from the North Sound to a 7 Mile beach. I just cannot find somebody actually proposing it, even though I know they've done something close by the Ritz already. So that's some precedent has already been set there, but that doesn't mean we have to say yes to the something that already is done.
Right. Okay.
We don't have to say yes again to something else, because now you're putting the island in even more danger. And I think those in the planning department, those that are in cabinet, those that are presently in government, they need to make the right decision here and send that plan back to the Art Corporation and whoever is responsible for it. And there's always going to be development, but there are some parts of that development that are not good for this island. It is good for a few canal front property owners that when they buy it, for I think it's probably about 50 or less canal front properties that are going to be included in the area where they have this large canal being dredged out that goes into the Caboose site. Like, why in the world would the government of the Cayman Islands and the planning department and whoever else is responsible, I don't necessarily want to stick the names there for and miss out who is actually responsible, but who in the world thinks that it's a good idea to give that type of potential liability? And I didn't want to use the word potential, because we deal with hurricanes every year for 6 months out of the year, going on 7 months out of the year. And why is it even I just cannot come to terms with why they think it's a good idea to endanger the population of West Bay, the population of West Bay South and Georgetown and the whole Cayman Islands by allowing that canal to be even proposed for the sake of a few property owners. I mean, a handful of property owners in the scheme of things.
Right.
It is just ridiculous. I think government needs to reject it, make them go back to the drawing board. If they want to come back with a different proposal, go ahead and do that, because they're going to do something anyway, but they cannot approve that proposal as it is, because they are the DART Corporation and whoever is responsible has come out saying that, it's only a proposal, and that things may or may change as other things happen. But we know that if they're given the stamp of approval on this and say that it may or may not happen, the fact is we have seen that there are changes that they have made to other proposals, and as things go on, they are not going to turn back. And in this case, I would hate for the government to approve that just for the sake of 100 people versus 65,000 that we have on this island. I mean,
there's something that we want
to... just one more... Sorry, I don't...
No, I want to add something to what you ask you to relate, but we do have the break. But go ahead.
I was just saying, the problem that we have in Cayman is that you have a lot of young and children that cannot vote, that cannot voice their concerns. Their parents have to do it for them, right? So there's a larger voice out there than just the ones like myself and the others that have put in their objections, that I think we have to look out for. The government has to look out for the next generation that is coming up. If they go ahead with this plan, they're endangering the future for the next generation. So I just wanted to raise it. Just the Cayman Beach Watch website that is set up. I think everybody should go there and visit. You can look Cayman Beach Watch on Google and their page pops up. They have a template objection letter already done for people that want to object, to be able to print it out, sign it, take a picture of it, scan it or whatever, or deliver the original document back, and they've basically done all the hard work for those that want to do an objection. I encourage everybody to go to that page and just to put in their objections, so that government knows that there's a voice and there's a people out there that do not think that this is a good idea. And that's not even talking about the loss of all the public beach accesses that are being taken away in this particular project.
Mm-hmm.
It's going from 3 to 4 beach accesses to 1 or something to none, I think is probably a better word, because you got to get permission to go on the one that's being proposed. But we have to wake up. We have to, regardless of what happened in the past, we have to take this bull by the horns. Now we have to control the development that is being done and being proposed.
Uh-huh.
And the people of Cayman have to have a say in it. And it can't just be for a few hundred wealthy individuals or corporations where a decision like this is being done, and everybody else now has to kind of suck it up and live with it. No, that can't happen anymore. So
Fair
I
enough.
just
you answered.
To go ahead and do that.
Yeah, you answered one question without me asking. The other question I wanted to ask of you, if you would, and others, they propose, or there is one proposed project within the Barkas area that we've been hearing about. Would you look into that, just so that it would be an impartial sort of perspective, and at some point share your thoughts on that with us relative to, plan approval, impact of development, whether it's, and the like. We're going to pause though, take a break. We're going to bring Miss Serena Turner a little bit early into the studio when we return. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands.
Following the storm of 1932, Cayman Brac, under the initiative of Commissioner A.W. Cardinal, engaged in several different industries to boost their recovery efforts. Sharks were actively fished for their skins, which were then shipped via Jamaica to New York. For perspective, one good shark skin over 35 inches could feed a family for a week. Egging became more common. The practice of egging meant traveling hundreds of miles to the Sorana, Pedro, and Morant Cays and collecting birds' eggs, and then shipping them direct to Jamaica. The eggs would value at £4 per thousand, with the season record being 291,000 eggs collected. Cattle and goat hide tanning was also a trade unique to the Brac by the Lazari family in Northeast Bay. Its leather products supplied the sister islands and was exported to Jamaica and sold in Grand Cayman.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Georgetown West voters, Dr. Kendrick Webster is inviting you to a yard meeting Saturday, March 27th at number 73 Newport Avenue, Georgetown at 7:30 p.m. All Georgetown West voters are invited to a yard meeting Saturday, March 27th, held by candidate Dr. Kendrick Webster at number 73 Newport Avenue, Georgetown at 7:30 p.m. The Chamber of Commerce, in association with Foster's, is hosting a series of candidate forums. Candidates from each of the 19 constituencies respond to questions submitted by the public in a recent online Chamber survey. Watch the forums by streaming the Chamber's or Radio Cayman's Facebook or YouTube channels on CIG TV or Logic Channel 23, weeknights from 7:15 p.m. Visit caymanchamber.ky for up-to-date election news and candidates' profiles. The forums are also proudly sponsored by DART, Affinity Recruitment, and Bodden's Legal and Corporate.
Tonight's forum features candidates from West Bay West, Bakiva Bush, and Mario Ebanks. You can watch tonight's debates on Radio Cayman's Facebook page, CIG TV's cable channel, or on the Chamber's YouTube channel, live from 7:15.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And in the studio, candidate for Prospect. And former host, if I can say, of our Business Buzz program, Miss Sabrina Turner. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, it's always a pleasure to welcome good people into the studio, you know.
Yes.
And I tell you what, if they keep my company, it's even better.
To the listening and viewing audience, it's a pleasure to be back, and I'm so happy for this this opportunity, even though it's limited. We thank you, and Radio Cayman, of course, the number one, is giving us this free this interview, this 15 minutes of our fame, which we understand how expensive it is in order to run a campaign with a limited budget that we have to work with. So I want to personally thank Radio Cayman for giving me this 15 minutes. That it's complimentary.
Yeah, 50 candidates, 15 minutes,
Yes.
one station,
Yes,
one host.
that's right.
One number to call. Coming to you,
You're all in PR mode, aren't you?
No, it's good, man. It's good.
Yes.
It is something that I think that we're recognizing as political candidates, as voters. At this time of our season, we get a renewed appreciation for a healthy democracy. And if you would share with us, we know that you recently opened your headquarters, maybe talk about what it's been like on the campaign trail. Some of the issues, are they the same? Are there new issues? As you wish, because it gives us an insight. I've always said this, and I say this respectfully: every single person in this country who is eligible to vote should get registered to vote, and every single person should get politically involved. First and foremost, by getting registered to vote and going to vote. But why not consider standing for election? Why not get involved with someone's election campaign and thereafter? So we want to hear from you. Headquarters?
Fully packed. Let's start with headquarters. My first time ever running for political office is right now. I have never even considered, I have been approached, but to actually embrace the opportunity and respond to suggestions and support of others, never have done it before. But it is something, as you alluded to, that we should all be a part of the democratic process, whether or not you want to throw yourself into the political ring as a candidate or just being a part of a campaign. Let me tell you, it is a lot of work, and that's not tongue in cheek. But it also really proves exactly when you compare it with other jurisdictions, you got to know the demographics, where you have chosen to stand for office, the limited time, doing it legally in accordance to the elections law, and what we should have to uphold in this entire campaign. I took the approach from the day I decided to throw my hand into the political ring that I thought it was very important to establish some sort of neutral ground within the immediate area prospect. And I'm so blessed to know that I was able to secure a campaign headquarters, which is number 33 off Marina Drive. And that was opened last week, Saturday. Last night we had one of many meet and greet your candidate at that location, where it affords people the opportunity to come see the space, hear exactly all of the plans that I have for the space. Well, as it is right now, we're in campaign mode, but we're using that space as a community gathering for the purpose of my campaign. It has been well received. A lot of people are a little confused because it is the first of its kind. Should the people of Prospect elect me on April 14th, that campaign headquarters, 33 Marina Drive, will automatically become the first constituency office that has ever been put in place within the Prospect community. And for that, I feel that it shows my investment in the people. It shows that I'm ready to work for them, and it has already established that presence, that they know that they have a place that they can go and meet their elected official. We have a number of events scheduled coming up for that location. But the big meeting is tomorrow night as well at the kitchen. That is the Jerk Center after Macross in their parking lot. That kicks off at 7 o'clock. And then I have a schedule of other events such as the 29th, Monday the 29th in the Cecile Crichton Park. That's down in Newlands. I'll be going door to door, distributing personally invitations to those persons who are in the Raven Avenue area and all of that immediate constituents of the Spots Newlands area. And then on Tuesday, the 30th of March, we'll be back on number 45 Ammon Avenue, right there in the front yard of Miss Marlin. So I am doing my best to personally put myself out there to the people. And I have been personally going door to door. I implore persons to check their Ring cameras. I have been doing this myself, which for some, I haven't seen her, but they admit they have seen the flyers.
Mm-hmm.
I have personally been doing it because it also gives me an opportunity to engage and interact with persons. So my day is pretty much split because I still have to operate my own business. I have to earn my own keep. I have to pay for this campaign. So I'm in my office pretty much from 10 until around 2:30. And then I go home and I get ready to go door to door and engage and interact with the people. After that, around 6, 7 o'clock, I'm at the headquarters until about 8, 9 o'clock at night. Many a times I respond to messages and calls, and there are persons who have arranged audiences with their families that I also entertain at their request.
Mm-hmm.
So for anyone who has not been a part of this journey, I must say that my experience thus far has been one that is inviting. They're like, we know you would finally reach. It's like they were waiting.
Mm-hmm.
I can't honestly say to date that I've had a bad encounter. I've ran from a few dogs, which is good for losing some weight.
Not that you need to do that. Maybe the heart rate.
I ran from a few dogs, but aside from that, the journey has been quite fulfilling and an experience that I will never, ever forget.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good feeling when you are actually waited upon and people are relieved and excited to see you and to really talk about topical issues. And I feel that the resounding response that I've gotten from the young adults and their support is amazing. And I just wish that a lot more of them, now that they realize that they're knowing me from a more personal side of things, I'm educating, I'm excited to, I've had engagements with even a little young gentleman yesterday, age 12. He was all excited to meet me and he was asking his mother all of these questions. And it was so refreshing to see that hunger for understanding the process. But there's a thing where once you're elected, it is almost as though people fear or feel like, oh, you're elected, I'm not good enough. I'm going to switch that. Once elected, I want you to be able to call me and still engage with me even that much more. Because in their little heads, that's how he saw, oh, well, I don't think she will have time for me. Mom, you think she will talk? No. It's only then I want to engage and interact with the people.
All right. I was going to ask you, and that's perhaps a good segue in that walking about the community.
Door to door.
And seeing and engaging the people. I wanted to find out if there were, any particular thing that may have been new or different or surprising as you encountered people that, wow, I didn't realize it was this. Some candidates would talk about the almost level of abject poverty. They didn't use that word, but that's what it comes. That was shocking. They didn't realize that, wow, this exists, right? Those of us who may have done the census back in 2000 as enumerators started to see that we were ignoring it. That's where the NALC sort of gave us a perspective. So that first question, anything?
In my walkthrough within the electoral district of Prospect,
yes,
is pretty different than when I was doing it as a community leader. And I think what has pretty much made it even more obvious that we were hurting before COVID, but it has actually made its head even more right now because of the loss of jobs. What I've sensed with the people in my engagement is true solutions of making people feel as though there is an opportunity, there is a place for them in our community. We're talking about diversifying our economy and development, but I'm getting from them, who have we developed for? And I say that in past tense, because as you rightfully look at all of the properties right now that are available, and we have so much young people and families who are just busting at the seams to be their own homeowner or having access to their own place, but they're just not getting through because it's so costly. And another thing with culture, we're almost afraid to engage in the conversation that we're all being affected by. Everyone is being affected by not being able to make your income go the mile, go the distance. But the young people that I'm hearing crying out is that I am not given a chance. Now we're having that even increased, and we're seeing more of the parents who are scratching their heads almost in confusion. Have I done it wrong? Where did I go wrong? I can't get my kids to respond in me in a certain way. It's a sense of confusion, and then they're trying to hold it together to keep the family unit in one. So there's a lot of undercurrents there that leads then into even mental health. Prospect is no different. We have a number of young persons. We have a number of single parent homes. And these young people are on the roads in the afternoons, pretty much sometimes taking care of themselves, but they're old enough to know better. But I feel we're not tapping into them sufficiently. They need that guidance. They need to understand their sense of purpose and get them all doing something in the community, giving back, so that they can understand that they have a place in our society as well.
So that in itself is talking about ownership, but specifically not even access to housing, to be able to own a piece of the rock.
Or maintain what they have.
Or to maintain what they
because some of us are almost embarrassed to go to the bank to talk about the mortgage.
All right. And we got 15 minutes with Miss Sabrina, and I got to follow my instructions of my traffic manager. So you are at 124 and 15 is 139. But we'll end whenever we're ready, right? We want to read. I
like to follow the rules.
You know what I'm saying? WhatsApp that came through. If you permit me, I'll do my best to see it. And even if I can read it as sent. So verbatim, says Sabrina, I am extremely proud of you. I am praying for you and truly hope you are successful. I have known you from you was a baby and watched you grow up. Your mom would be very proud to see what you are doing in the community. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Many times we hear disparaging comments, but it's good to be positive and read give flowers while they can appreciate it, right?
Yes, it's true.
So
it's amazing the response, the resounding response that I've gotten from persons. And to be honest, I am coming into this as organic as I can be. There are questions. You're going to have lovers. You're going to have haters of the three candidates, me being one of them. But at the end of the day, I want people to make their decision wisely. What are the chances of that candidate who is asking for your vote? And I'm no longer ashamed of asking for a constituent's vote. Look into that person closely. There's one thing of taking a stage and making promises, but track record speaks volumes. Being able to honestly work on a even playing field as a positive team player. It's great of being a solution. People are looking for solutions, but what have you left in your wake leading up to putting yourself for a political candidacy that would honestly prove, wow, I would love to be represented by that individual? And I'm not going to be the broken record to say, I'm the savior for anything, but I think I've demonstrated to the people of Prospect and Red Bay community that I am all inclusive. I'm all about community building, and they have bought into me. I am honestly answering their cry, their plea, and putting myself for political office. Come out tomorrow. At my public meeting. The PR, the advertisements are being ran right here on Radio Cayman. And reach out to me, 926-8080.
We're just about to wrap up the conversation.
Yes.
Your 15 minutes of fame times X to the power N. We do have a caller coming in. Would you want Mr. Fox? We're at the end of the conversation. I
have no problem taking the calls. I'm at your disposal.
Fox, I'm in charge when I'm eating my... Let's go to the phone. Say good afternoon and welcome. We're on with political candidate for Prospect. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Sabrina.
Good afternoon.
Oh, girl, go. You're the candidate for Prospect. I can't vote for you, but I'm supporting you all the way, and I'll be there tomorrow.
That's right.
I whistle.
Yes.
And one more thing I want to say, what the Jordanian was saying about crowd. Crowd don't matter. Because I know from working at the airport, sometimes we would have the departure hall filled with people. All crowd do is create more frustration and whatever. We had them out there sitting on the floor, and sometimes we might make $500 for the day, and sometimes we have 50 good spending people up in there, and we make thousands. So crowd do mean nothing.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
People are afraid to come out now because some people get so political stupid that they're afraid they may shoot them or chop them or something, so they're listening. And about the crowd is who know where they're going to put their vote for who. So the crowd at the meetings don't mean nothing.
All right.
Look at that.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you very much for that. Well, so your meeting is,
Yes.
as you want to remind us?
A huge meeting tomorrow that's planned for the kitchen. That's the Jerk Center right there after Macross.
Mhm.
It's on the main road. So we start at 7. We understand that people have to fight with traffic to go home,
Mhm.
but we want to start at 7. And, there are other meetings there. People can follow me on Facebook. We do have transportation if persons require pickup and drop off to our meeting. That is available. Just give me a call, 926-8080. We'd be more than happy to have somebody pick you up for that meeting. But
All
again,
right.
thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Sabrina Turner, candidate for Prospect. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
I will.
All right.
Likewise.
We'll pause and we'll take a break. When we come back, Mr. Malcolm Eden, another political candidate, another constituency, another conversation. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Now you'll never have to choose between 2 desserts at Subway. The new caramel brownie cookie is 2 treats in 1. Imagine sweet, gooey caramel with decadent chocolate chunks baked in brownie-flavored dough and topped with a light drizzle of caramel icing. And you have the new caramel brownie cookie, available at Subway. Complete your Subway sandwich, pizza, or salad with the delicious caramel brownie cookie or any other cookie flavor and dessert. Available at all Subway locations. Subway, eat fresh.
This Wednesday night at 7 p.m., our new Progressives leader, Roy McTaggart, will be at Snug Harbour with me, Joey Hugh. Come and hear our plans for a stronger, safer future for you. Join us at 7 p.m. this Wednesday, March 24th, Snug Harbour Park. See you there.
Put your hands for the Progressives. Serving you is the objective. We going all the way. Progressives.
This is a paid advertisement by the Progressives.
I'm looking for a new pizza joint with that perfect crust. My car needs a bit of a tune-up, and my pregnant wife needs something from the pharmacy. So I turned to the printed yellow directory, and in an instant, the pizzas are ordered, the oil change is booked, and the thing that I'm not allowed to say out loud has been purchased for my wife. Problem solved. When you need something quick, do yourself a favor. Flip through the printed yellow directory. Stop searching, start finding. Yellow, we know local.
Now is your chance for big savings on all GE appliances at Brandsource Home Gallery. Brandsource needs to make room for more stock, so that means big savings for you. Save $600 on GE front load launch repairs and save $800 on double wall ovens and French door smart refrigerators. Save on dishwashers, ranges, microwaves, cooktops, wine coolers, and more. Now through Saturday the 27th at Brandsource Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park. Don't miss this chance for big savings on all GE appliances. Hurry in today.
Radio K-Man Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio. Enjoy a mix of pop, hip-hop, dancehall, urban gospel. The Super Jam Show is
brought to you by these kind sponsors.
The Cayman Islands Football Association, SIFA, building a better future for Cayman football.
Cayman Insurance Center. Don't take chances with your family's future.
The University of the West Indies Open Campus.
Find your place in the Cayman Dream today. The UWI Open Campus, on-site, online, and on demand.
Visit open.uwi.edu. Call them today at 946-8322. Train with Dre. Train with Dre's lunch weight loss program. Get your meals right and lose weight today. No excuses, no gimmicks. Call Dre today at 928-3420.
The Super Jam on Radio Cayman.
Blue Marlin Restaurant. Takeout on Eastern Avenue. Delivery and catering.
Food is awesome.
Call 947-4752 to place your order.
The #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio.
Good day, this is Dr. Croy McCoy from the Department of Environment, and this is an important announcement for all boat operators, divers, and snorkelers. Stony coral tissue loss disease is having a devastating impact on the Cayman Islands coral reef ecosystem. Pathogens on dive gear may survive for extended periods of time and can be transferred among reefs. If you're diving or snorkeling anywhere in the Cayman Islands and before traveling between Grand Cayman and the Sister Islands, please disinfect your boat bilges and dive gear in a 1% bleach solution for 10 minutes before diving or snorkeling in a new geographic location.
For more information or to make any reports, please visit our website at www.doe.ky.
Everyone is invited to come out to a meeting by Ezard Miller on Thursday, March 25th at 196 Northside Road, Cynthia's Yard, Old Man Bay at 8 p.m. That's a meeting by Ezard on Thursday, March 25th at 196 Northside Road, Cynthia's Yard, Old Man Bay at 8 p.m. All are invited.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us as we invite to the studio political candidate for Savannah, the constituency of Savannah, Mr. Malcolm Eden. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here today.
All right. Yeah. Now, for us, as we get into a very, very imminent election on the 14th of April, hours we could almost count it down if we were so inclined. Why, Malcolm Eden, why now? What prompted you? Share with us. Give the public a perspective of who you are. And why now? Why are you doing this?
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that's listening at home today. Thank you to all of my supporters so far. This is something I've thought about for a long time. It's not something that I made a decision on overnight. I've always been involved in the community through Rotary, through a number of different avenues. And, this is just another step in me seeing ways and finding solutions for my community, for the constituency of Savannah, and I think for the country as a whole. Meeting with a lot of constituents, there are a number of issues that, they've highlighted areas for improvement, and they've been giving me a lot of constructive feedback as well of things ideas that they have and ways that we can improve, not just Savannah, but I think our country as a whole.
Okay. And so with this perspective, then, as you move about, something that we've been interested in finding out. But sometimes you can hear people say something, but it's when you see it, smell it, taste it, sample it for yourself. Any particular things that stand out for you as you get to see even more closely your community, its members, and all the things that are happening in their lives?
I think one thing that has come across pretty clear is some of the challenges that the constituents are facing. A lot of them are having difficulties meeting their financial obligations. They're having issues, when it comes to paying their mortgages. A lot of the elderly in the community are having issues with health insurance and health insurance coverage. A lot of the younger generation that I talk to are concerned about whether they will be able to find a job in the future. Of course, education has been quite topical, I think, and you're hearing that from a lot of candidates in the constituency as well, so education and employment opportunities. But one of the things that I think that I bring to the table is the ability to produce results. And everything that I've been involved with in my life, whether Rotary or business ventures or based on my prior experience with SEMA, I have a unique ability, I think, to generate results, and that comes about by having constructive dialogue with all of the stakeholders. In this case, it would be my constituents and other members of the community, not just those that are voters, but those that actually reside in the area, and coming together and finding solutions and plotting a path to achieve results.
Okay. So, Malcolm, with that in mind, we've heard just from the public calls across the country that the issues of finances has been cost of paying the bills, the mortgage, and the threat of a foreclosure, employment. Is it your understanding that this was bad before and worse, after COVID, or is it that this, was just as a result of what transpired last year?
I think some of the issues existed before. I think COVID definitely exacerbated the problem and made it worse. But even throughout COVID, there were some initiatives that were taken that allowed individuals to draw on their pension. So things of that nature would have allowed us to make it through COVID. But, the root of the problem, I think, started from some time in the past. I mean, over a period of the past 5 years in particular, housing prices have started to creep up. The cost of food and things have started to go up. Some of that has been a result of limited supply of housing locally on island, but some of it has been externally generated as well. So some of those increase in prices are a result of what's happening around the world. But I think there are a few areas that we can definitely look at and find ways to bring the housing pricing down. I think when it comes to mortgages and things of that nature, what we need is a bit more compassion from some of the financial services providers and finding solutions and working with individuals rather than moving to foreclosure within a period of 3 months. Maybe there's a solution that would work for the bank or the lending institution as well as for the individual who has the home. So I'm going to be releasing my manifesto. It's available now. I can send it around to those that are interested. I'll provide the details later on. But, that talks about issues and solutions to some of the problems that we're facing. And I've spoken about those during the campaign trail as well, especially things when it comes to like goods and ways of reducing the import duties on some of our basic necessities, things such as milk and, bread and things of that nature, I think would go a long way because, the biggest contribution to our costs are food, mortgage or rent, and then our utilities. So.
And as you referenced, the results to solution sort of approach, you talked about houses and reference, ways to bring prices down. Potential, what are some of the examples of possible solutions you'd offer to reduce housing costs?
Well, I think one of the things that I mentioned is lack of supply at the moment. There's a lot of demand for housing, but we still have a relatively limited supply of housing. I think one of the things that government needs to do is to look at acquiring more property. That could be land with the view of providing we've had in the past, but low-cost housing, something that is sustainable, something that's affordable, something that's ideally between 200 and 300,000. To achieve that, we're going to have to work with contractors, with those importing the raw materials to the islands. So I think working in that regard, working with the stakeholders, I think we can find ways to bring the cost of housing down. Interest rates are already relatively low, but some individuals may not qualify for a longer-term loan. Depending on your age, you might only qualify for a 10-year loan, and then that means that your monthly payment is quite high. And of course, the banks are concerned about longer-term payments. So what we have to do is look at ways of providing longer-term mortgages, but to do that, some type of a guarantee may need to be provided by government.
Well, with the retirement age now at 65, if they're at 55, are you finding that there's people who maybe not just in their 20s and 30s, but maybe in their 40s and 50s who are yet to be first-time homeowners, Caymanians who at 55 still don't own their homes?
Yeah, that's definitely the case. I think what happens is sometimes we wake up and we're at that age where we're 45 or 50 and we realize that all we've been doing is paying bills. We've been surviving, but we really don't have an asset. We don't have a loan. We don't have a house. But it's not too late, even at that age. I think still young. With the willpower, we can still find a way to make it happen.
Referencing housing, continuing to speak to that issue, you talked about increasing the supply because of the pent-up demand, as it were. But with prices of the raw commodities, the importation costs, the limited available supply of building materials driving up prices, how would the increased supply of more houses, given the increasing demand in competing factors from others, Caymanian, non-Caymanian, like the seemingly increased prices of lands, as you have referenced, how would that translate into lower housing costs? If you have the increased supply, yes, but then increased cost to put that supply to market.
Yeah, I think what we'll have to do is when those houses are built, make sure that some of them are reserved for Caymanians. What we're finding is that if a new development is proposed, the majority of them are bought up right away, and the basic principles of economics is, if there's a limited supply, the price tends to go up. So I think it's going to take time for us to create more supply in the marketplace. But in doing so, we need to make sure that as that supply becomes available, there's homes and places available for Caymanians on island. Because what we find is a new development is announced, and And some of those are very attractive. I've seen some, in the $200,000 range to $300,000 range, but some of them are being bought up and sold out. Some of them for speculative purposes as well. So we'll have developers or investors who will buy up 10 condos with the idea of holding on to them, and then there's nothing left for a Caymanian to buy. There's some even close to town, in the $200,000 range, but they're being sold out or bought out within a very short period of time. So there's a lot of construction going on, but we do need to make sure that Caymanians are available, or that we've set aside some of those properties for Caymanians so that they can participate in it as well. And there's some parts of the island, I think we need to change the idea of everyone needs to live in town, because, I hear this a lot that, I need to be within 5 minutes of town, but, there's a lot of reasonable properties outside of town in the area that I live in, Savannah, further out Bordentown, east and north side. When there's no traffic, it's easy to get into town. So that leads into the other discussion about traffic and transportation. But there are, I think, as you look further outside of the central area of town or 7 Mile Beach, there are more affordable housing out there.
When is there no traffic coming into town?
Yeah, there.
Just
each day there's more and more cars on the roads, and there's always traffic. Yeah, I think you find when the schools are out, there's really no traffic. I think certain times of the day it eases up a bit around midday, so that's where things like staggered working hours would help. But during the peak hours, there's nothing. There's no way for you to avoid the traffic. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So as you reference the issues in housing, education, employment, the whole idea of the financial obligations of people. Solutions, if you wish, as you share your manifesto is going to be out momentarily to the wider array of the voters, but what are possible solutions you're offering in order to address some of these pressing issues?
Well, I touched on the housing. I think when it comes to education, one of the things that I've been focusing on is vocational service. There are jobs available in the construction industry, and there's jobs available for mechanics, electricians, plumbers, tilers, things of that nature, but our people aren't prepared to take on some of those jobs. I think we need more of a focus of that in the education system to prepare our kids to take on jobs in the vocational world. And I think our education system, we need to revisit that in terms of maybe reintroducing A-levels for those that want to go on to studying that on Ireland. I think we need a proper university-type facility on Ireland, because at the moment some of the kids, they have the education and the background, and they have the willingness to go off to study, but they just can't afford to go off to school because it's not within their budget. Their family can't afford it, and they may not be able to get a scholarship to go off and do those tertiary level studies. So I think having probably a tertiary level university type facility on Ireland would definitely help to build the expertise locally within our kids as they graduate.
It is a trying time, it is a changing time, and at the end of the day, it's a time to work together. As you sort of close out your conversation with us, what else would you want to leave with our listeners?
Just to say that, I want to say thank you to all of those that I've met with so far. I've met with many constituents in Savannah. Those that I have not been able to meet with, I'm available. I've provided them with all of my contact details. My phone number is 923-5538. A lot of information is available on my Facebook page, which is Savannah MP 2021. I've broadcasted all of my meetings live. There's a lot of good content on there. It'll have my manifesto as well. But just rest assured that I do have the interests of my constituents at heart. Everything that I do, I'm doing for them. And I'm available if they have any questions or any issues that they want to bring to my attention, because at the end of the day, we want to make Cayman a better place for our people and for them to be able to afford a home and live in harmony on the island.
There you go, man. Well, appreciate it, Malcolm. Malcolm Eaton, political candidate for the constituency of Savannah. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon and the week as well, man. Thank you for coming to the studio.
All right. Thank you, Dwayne. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. We're going to pause now and take a break. When we come back after the headline news at 2, it'll be open line, so stay tuned.
Things just got a bit hotter on Island. Come in today and order the new spicy Korean subs at Subway. They're sweet, spicy, and especially satisfying. Stop in and try the pulled pork with spicy Korean sauce, or the chicken with spicy Korean sauce. And you can message WhatsApp at 929-4658. Order online or use Let's Eat or the Bento app. The spicy Korean subs at Subway in 2 flavors, extra saucy and extra spicy. Subway, eat fresh.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. Are you aware of the performance of your pension plan? The Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan provides quarterly fund fact sheets for our members to stay informed with the plan's performance. For the year ended August 31st, various life cycle funds provided returns between 9.2% and 16.5%, and our all-in expense ratio is currently the lowest it's ever been, a record low at 0.72%. Visit chamberpension.ky to review our fund fact sheets. You can see the performance as far back as 10 years. Remember that pensions are a longer-term investment strategy. Focus on the long term rather than the short-term returns. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan continues to perform for you.
We're a group of like-minded individuals with a love and dedication to our country and a desire to serve.
All of us have previously served as members of government
and look forward to the opportunity to represent our country and communities once again.
Our collective goal is to create a better country through working together.
We chose the theme, Community Creates Country,
because we believe that everyone has a contribution to make to his or her community, and by extension, his or her country.
This is Wayne Panton, and I am seeking to represent the people of Newlands.
This is Heather Bodden, and I'm hoping to represent the community of Savannah.
And I am Osborne Bodden, and I look forward to the opportunity to represent the people of Boddentown East.
Visit voteforcommunity.ky to find out more about your Community Creates Country candidates and how they plan to make a difference on April 14th.
Making a dent in traffic congestion is everyone's responsibility. This March 22nd to the 26th, join your community for Car Free Week, a countrywide initiative by the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, carpooling, cycling, public transport. Join a park and ride program, or perhaps working from home. Your boss will understand. Visit energy.gov.ky for more information for park and ride options. Take the Car Free Pledge and enter into the raffle. Traffic may stand still, but the Car Free movement is moving ahead. Join your community. Take the pledge March 22nd to the 26th.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
It's only two species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
It is in the best interest of the people of these islands.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Shanda Gallego from Radio Cayman's newsroom. Government reported the results of 353 COVID-19 tests on Tuesday. All came back negative. There are currently 728 people in isolation. The Cayman Islands has now vaccinated around 22% of the population for COVID-19, with 43% having received at least one dose of the two-dose course. Turning to international news now, Myanmar's security forces shot dead a 7-year-old girl in the city of Mandalay on Tuesday, the youngest victim yet in the military's bloody crackdown on civilian opposition to the February 1st coup. The young girl was killed in her home during a military raid, according to advocacy group Assistance Association for Political Prisoners and Reuters news agency. Citing relatives, local news agency Myanmar Now reported the girl was shot while sitting in her father's lap after security forces kicked down the door to the family's home. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has cancelled plans for a strict lockdown over Easter just a day after the measures were announced. Calling the plan a mistake, Mrs. Merkel said she took ultimate responsibility for the U-turn. The proposed lockdown was agreed with regional leaders in talks overnight on Monday, with restrictions set to be tightened between April 1st and 5th. But the plan was reversed following a crisis meeting on Wednesday. And Pope Francis has ordered pay cuts for cardinals and other clerics as the Vatican battles to balance its books during the pandemic. Cardinals will see their pay reduced by 10% from April, the Vatican said. They are believed to receive up to $5,900 a month and often live in subsidized accommodation. The Vatican expects a deficit of 50 million euros this year. Its income had been badly hit by the closure of museums and other attractions in the pandemic. The Pope has previously previously said that he does not want to fire people in difficult economic times. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky. The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211. April 14th, 2021 is Election Day in the Cayman Islands.
Running for political office is no easy feat. You need to be everywhere, all of the time.
Now is the time to get your important messages out to the voting public.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, has always been there. Whether you want to get your political commercials or infomercials on air, make in-house studio appearances, or have your district meetings broadcast live to the listening audience.
Set a time today to meet with one of our knowledgeable Radio Cayman sales account executives who have their fingers on the pulse of the community.
Call them today on 949-7799 or email rcsales@gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, we've been in the community for just about 45 years. That means something.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. It's going to be open line now for the remainder of the show as we invite you to call and share your thoughts. The opportunity to have your voice, be a resonating sound within our airwaves. The opportunity for you to take advantage of healthy democracy, to be able to champion and question, to be able to comment and critique, to be able to know that you have so diligently and deliberately made a choice to stand in the gap. Future generations demand that we take appropriate and measured action. Successive generations will, approve of our approach. But our ancestors required that we too have the same mettle to make the sacrifice and to serve our country with the same level of commitment, respect, and love, to make it a safe, healthy place, a secure, stable society, one where there's not only economic prosperity, but there's a promise of social harmony. One where not only, we heard political candidate Miss Sabrina Turner earlier, sort of jokingly, some would say maybe half so, as she goes about the community prospect, say that she had to run from a few dogs. Well, not to infer what she said or to extrapolate further, but how many of us about in our communities as we walk with our families, whether we exercise or ride our bikes, or we just want a little evening out and to, smell the wonderful fragrances of the blooming plants, to perhaps feel the rays of the sunshine warm our skin, or perhaps to just visit with our neighbors without having to be, making an ever more negative impact relative to our carbon footprint. Have had barking dogs, have had some, that gnarling teeth, at us, or even worse, been bitten and injured. Now, it's not just the irresponsibility of our pet owners or the unfortunate escape, despite our measures to secure, some of the seemingly more, how should we put, vicious, ferocious dogs, but perhaps the insensitivity of a society towards the protection of others, or the inability to enforce legislation or to pass and enact it in the first place. Again, quality of life issues. Let's read some comments from our WhatsApp. Remember earlier we had a caller who was sharing through Cayman Beach Watch, if you wanted to at least voice your concerns about the proposed development north of the Kimpton that seemingly could add increasingly more waterfront properties, could potentially impact the environment further, could potentially in terms of inclement weather, impending hurricanes and the like, negatively impact the communities and families in the surrounding areas and into Westbury proper, as it were. But is it a balance? Well, we read that, that with respect to the proposed canal on Westbury Road, individual says do not agree with it. Hope that the public not only signs the letter to planning but also organises a march. One says, I agree with the caller, and that was the caller earlier, the gentleman was sharing. That is no one with respect to the dangers of the proposed Dark Canal. However, the people of Cayman need to remember that this was possibly the proposed plan from the outset. And from the time that decision was made to raise the road or make that bridge in that area was done. Let's go to their phones. Hey, good afternoon, welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, how are you?
Oh, very blessed and thankful. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Thankful.
Amen.
Sterling, there's a lot of talk going on about this area, that area of developing. I'm not hearing anyone talking about South Sound. There's a huge development going down there in South Sound, across from, I think somewhere around where the boardwalk is, that they so call it boardwalk.
I like how you put that.
I'm still waiting for the barbecue grills and they walk out. What do you call it? I think the boardwalk. You walk out into the water. You can sit out there in the cabana. And you were supposed to get when it was building that sidewalk.
Well, if that thing costs $2 million, you imagine how much the other thing will cost.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And another thing I see, with that we had that tree up there with the shoes on it, and the tree shoe, and look at it, almost 90% of those shoes are being removed off of that tree up there.
Shouldn't that tree be removed to begin with? That's the ugliest sight I've ever seen, but anyway. That's just me, right?
Well, I tell you what, a lot of tourists enjoy going there taking pictures. But Sterling, I see we have a new, I don't know what to call it, a cutting tractor or lawnmower for the government. And it has the license plate on it. Now, government has to license all the vehicles to run our streets, right? And I feel it should have a different plate from us, but that's okay too. But what I'm trying to get at, we got so many things on the road that doesn't have any license on it and no proper lighting or indicator on these things that are being towed behind a truck or a van or whatever the case may be. And come in driving 6 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, and there's a truck hauling a boat, and it has no light whatsoever on the back of the boat, that kind of way.
Right.
Some bulldozers are on the road. Not a bulldozer. Is it a bulldozer? The one with the bucket in the front. Or that's a bulldozer. What I call?
Backhoe.
Backhoe. That be on the road. No proper lighting. And I feel that knowing that we are such a small island and we have to get inspected for just about everything when it comes to a taxi, but yet we got so many things on the road with no license on it. Right.
And as you share that too, I have a handful of callers off air and a few on air who have almost constantly and continually commented about the frequency of vehicles on the road that seemingly have, I'll use the word license plates, that are obviously not seemingly the license plates that we are accustomed to seeing in Cayman. So some have said they're just a writing on it, some have said they're long, narrow strips of things with letters and numbers. Questioning whether or not these things are legally licensed to operate on the road, or if there's a way that maybe that operates and it's just part of the vanity plate system. I haven't had the answer because I have not.
I saw some of them on the road, but they got some. I saw them now with the Cayman license on top of it now.
Right. I haven't inquired officially because I thought, the police would see it and would know. If obviously if it's an issue that someone is just flouting the law because of whatever reason, that it would be addressed. So much more pressing issues. But to your point,
And Sterling, we had these new license plates now. I know must have go down 3 years. And no disrespect to Corby and what that has done to us, but we still have so many vehicles on the road with the old license plates on them. And they're so old that it's pathetic. And I want to know why we still not having this new license plate fully up to park on the road and be able to do what they say they're supposed to do when it comes to, to something happen, like an accident, they could track it. I'm not sure how it really works.
But is it comes back to a society who for some reason now has developed or is developing an ethos that almost seemingly has become entrenched, where respect, love, honesty, integrity, where consideration, care, concern, compassion, where those values and virtues that we thought were important, at least exhibited and valued and respected by your people, no longer are. Yes, ma'am.
You know what it is? I believe you give a termite an inch, and he takes a yard. And Cayman, all we are doing is spoiling people left, right, and center. And when we decide to throw the book at them on the street or in the courthouse, Cayman ain't no good, and Cayman is this. I'm going to leave. I'm going somewhere else. I'm going back to my hometown.
Right.
You cannot go to Rome and do as you please.
Right.
You better follow the rules and regulations.
I hear you, right? I hear you. But what if it's not only the people as you've alleged? What if it's us who are Caymanian, whether that's by status, PR, or whatever, us who are making this home, but us who are by here generation after generation that we no longer value and respect. Let's say we go camping somewhere, or we go to the picnic somewhere, or we just having lunch somewhere. Are we mindful not to discard our litter out the car window or leave it on the beach where we are? Are we even more inclined to see the litter and safely, right, given all that's happening, pick up the garbage that someone has left and maybe complain about it, but at least we remove it? Or are we just pretending we don't see the ills in our society, the constant littering on our roadways and our beaches and our secluded spots and the like? I mean, it is us collectively, right?
Sterling?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me just tell you what happened a few minutes ago. At the deli, this person was fixing something and the cover dropped. You know what he did? You know what he did with that cover? Kick it against the wall of the salad bar. Instead of him bending down to pick up that cover and throw it in the garbage bin, which was not far from where he was at, he just left it down there on the floor. So when it comes to picking up garbage and respecting each other and being helpful in living in this island, that has where all that gone to, Sterling. I feel that the few Caymanians that is left, they got this mentality that, I don't care what happened. Make them do what they want to do. They got to take control in the future anyhow, and they go on and go on and go on.
Right, okay.
But when it comes to election now, they want the people who run it to give them everything they want.
Right. So let me ask a question, right? To your point, if we adopt the attitude as you shared, but they can do it in a way, so may as well. We can't do it about it because already, if that is the mindset, what about the flip side where 1 or 2 or 10 or 100 or 1,000, whatever, says, you know what, that's not how it is. Let me stand up, speak out, and take action to ensure that at the very least, there is this other voice that should be representative of what we thought we were or what we think we should be. So when that happens, why isn't there others not just applauding, but coming together to support instead of castigating and somehow, not just maligning, but somehow ostracizing and beating them so badly that nobody else wants to step up?
Sterling, I don't know how we're going to get all this solved, but you know what's happening, I believe. Everybody's watching everybody. And instead of we stop watching everybody and do something, we could probably have a cleaner island and try to show some love and some respect to each other. And like you say, walk in the neighborhood and go to visit your friend and hope not to get bite by a dog or a cat or a squirrel or a iguana or whatever it is.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
Sterling, let me tell you, I'm going to let you go, but I just want to say that I just be glad when this election is over and may the best man win.
Or woman.
I just
teasing you. I just teasing you.
You know what I mean?
I just teasing you.
but Sterling, we as a small island, we need to live better.
Yes.
Not because you're not running and this one not running and and because a certain person is running, that you're going to try to tear their back off before they could even get their shut out to go to the polls to see if they, or wait till the polls close and they're counted to see if they're in. We've got to stop this negativeness and this nastiness. We are too small. We talk about what is it? Tourism is our main pillow and banking. I mean, come on, man.
All right.
We got left off.
All right.
One thing, Sterling, if they bring the refrigerator, I'm taking it.
Well, okay. Thank you very much, okay?
Okay, bye.
Blessings to you. All right, with that, let's just take the final break. And you can call and share your thoughts with us. I promise you I won't sing, but boy, it'll certainly be a joyful noise. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. The ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom. The land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Did you know that defective airbags can cause serious injury or even death if not repaired immediately? Right now, millions of vehicles around the world are under recall for faulty Takata airbags, and yours could be one of them. At Vant Motors, our priority is to make sure the Toyota or Ford you drive is safe. So we are offering customers a free, fast and easy airbag swap out if your vehicle was manufactured in 2016 or earlier. Find out if you need to have new airbags installed by emailing your Ford or Toyota vehicle's VIN or vehicle identification number to service@vantmotors.com or stop by Vamp's Service Center or call us at 949-2245. Don't risk it. Get the airbags in your Toyota or Ford checked for free at Vant Motors on Walkers Road.
There's nothing like the smell of freshly baked bread. The warm, inviting aroma, the fresh and natural taste. Just like homemade. 100% all-natural, additive-free bread.
Enjoy fresh and natural tasting bread from the iconic Caribbean Bakery. Always delivered fresh to your favorite supermarkets island-wide. Forget the imported frozen and thawed and enjoy our freshly baked selection of quality breads and pastries.
Try our classic white and wheat sandwich breads, coconut and raisin breads, hamburger and hot dog buns, and a great selection of pastries. Feed your family fresh with Caribbean Bakery.
Now is your chance for big savings on all GE appliances at Bransource Home Gallery. Bransource needs to make room for more stock, so that means big savings for you. Save $600 on GE front load launch repairs and save $800 on double wall ovens and French door smart refrigerators. Save on dishwashers, ranges, microwaves, cooktops, wine coolers, and more. Now through Saturday the 27th at Bransource Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive in Industrial Park. Don't miss this chance for big savings on all GE appliances. Hurry in today.
The following is a paid political announcement by Prospect candidate Ms. Sabrina Turner. Prospect residents, you are invited to a public meeting on Thursday, March 25th at 7:30 p.m. in the parking lot of the Kitchen Jerk Center in Prospect. That is Thursday, March 25 at 7:30 p.m. For further information, call 926-8080. The proceeding was a paid political announcement by Prospect candidate Ms. Sabrina Turner.
Radio K-Man brings you For the Health of It live with Tara Bush on Wednesday at 7 p.m. And if you miss it, you can tune in for the rebroadcast on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. Chlorodo Bleach is proud to sponsor For the Health of It. Mildew, no problem. Stains, no problem. Whites, no problem. Sanitary cleaning, no problem. Chlorodo Bleach has got you covered. For the ultimate clean, use Chlorodo Bleach. Available at Foster's Food Fair, 2 liters and 1 gallon sizes. Pick up your bottle today.
The ultimate clean is a Chlorodo Clean.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. Thanks for joining us. A few minutes left of today's program as we invite you to be a part of it. We do have a voice note to take. We have a caller as well. Fox, what do you want to take, the caller first or the voice note? All right, the voice note quickly, a minute or so.
Hi, good afternoon, Dwayne Sterling and the staff of Radio Cayman. I'm an expert and, I think what Cayman needs, we need a Consumer Affairs Commission to regulate a lot of things where pricing is concerned. Because I'm an expat, and I can tell you, I see a lot of reasons why house prices are so expensive, because simple thing as like a J5 socket or plug, whatever you want to call it, costs almost $25, and that's just ridiculous. So just imagine what other stuff would cost, like plumbing supplies, simple plumbing supplies, piping and wiring and all of that. So we need a consumer affairs to regulate prices on things to keep the cost down on housing, food, fuel, just about everything, even rent.
All right, thanks for that caller for listening, but equally for taking the opportunity to share a voice. And you can do likewise whenever you so choose through a voice note. But you always can call in. We go to our phones though. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hello, Sterling.
Ron, what's up, man?
Well, good Monday off, man. See myself tomorrow. That's up, man. That's what every day off. And now, Sterling.
Yes, sir.
This election time, right? A lot of admiration in the very near left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now, Sterling, listen me now. Right? I don't care who will be dismissive, judgmental, or prejudged, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, Sterling, elsewhere, they consider recognize the herb. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Despite, however, you abandon it, or me personally emphasizing the message.
Mm-hmm.
See? Certain powerful leaders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Press with optimism and power. How they get everything executed. See? That's a magnitude in the practical. Okay?
Right.
So, like, for instance, though, I was in Brockton this weekend, right? In the last campaign was 2013 in Grand Cayman. But that was a beautiful campaign, I can ever say. Right? And so then, differently, we got to look at long term. Long term, right? Some countries, right, they fail. There's contradiction, right? When they both not leave us, and they shift the goalpost. If you sorry and pitiful, you claim was swim milk. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know, as I listen to you, and you've been, very consistent, and saying this carefully, because it's good to see people publicly sort of share their perspective. And political candidate for one of the constituencies in the Sister Islands, Miss Maxine McCoy, she shared publicly the whole approach to the hemp plant, as she emphasized the medicinal qualities, but also the importance of it in terms of food, in terms of building materials, fibers, and the like. As I reflect on what she has shared, I'm hearing you and saying that maybe we have sort of moved forward without actually approaching this whole issue from as inclusive as a measure as possible to ensure quality control, but also potentially the financial windfall to the country's treasury.
So then, like, first of all, right, like, again, right, and how he legalized and currency flowing, money make. For instance, universal health right away on the market, you go beautification, education, scholarship, because and how listen, every semester or annual it increases now, right? And I heard the lady, Miss Maxine, I heard her. I watched her online. So I was streaming that, I was watching that. With hemp plant, but she wasn't specifically the slang of ganja or herbs or taboo. You understand? How is it more appropriate? But you see hemp. Okay. Like I said again, I don't hear what's going to make a contradiction. Because I'm blessed in this hemisphere now. Big and serious now. We be blessed in this hemisphere.
Amen.
But we long term revenue stream, serenity. And everything nice and correct. It's like a marinade. But still then, I don't go on and on. You want to call this?
Yeah, man.
But respect enough. But like I said again, early on, starting this election time is there and left. Right? Most of the year. Right? So, like I said again, however, powerful, they express optimism. Now they gain Some who don't. I stammering now. Who do not or don't.
Yeah.
The country fail. Okay?
Okay.
Have a good day. Cool.
Thanks, man. And thanks for everything, man. Enjoy the rest of yours, and we'll talk to you when you're ready. All right? This is where I think Radio Cayman has always, positioned itself as number one, and that we allow unfettered access and equal access to all the Sunday alike. We want you to stay tuned, whether it's for news or music, whether it's talk shows or information programs, whether it's for the health or otherwise, to be a part of it. But the health and strength and the wealth and value is the society's contributions, input, involvement, and desire. So can you imagine, for instance, if an entity like Radio Cayman was privatized and you didn't have anything other than potential of what we see in Eastern Caribbean and other jurisdictions, nothing more than the government of the day's political propaganda machine? Let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
Let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon.
And if you can, please, turn your radio off so we don't get the feedback. But welcome.
That one was so quick.
How are you?
Yeah, listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to you just now while you whisper. But I want that young man to take that tenacity, that great tenacity that he has, and address not just the hemp.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got medical marijuana, so we have addressed the marijuana part. So I just looking at the hemp now. Little clothes, little building blocks, where they can make out of it, little this and little that.
Mm-hmm.
And then after he do that, now he clear that up, he got everything that he wants.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to help us out now with that road closure from West Bay, because he has such tenacity and he knows everything like myself. Might end up knowing nothing like myself too, but he knows everything. So you know what you do, what old people say? Even if you don't know nothing, stand up and be counted. You go in just to make up numbers. Help us with that road closure, young man. Because I am tired of hearing about the ganja and the hemp and the hemp and the hemp and the ganja. I am so tired while we have real issues. This is a quick grow plant right here. I call them quick grow when they grow up like that. This is a quick grow plant right here. So you will always be able to grow that. Right now, we're looking to try to hold a little piece of the rock for perpetuity. Help us with that. We got medical marijuana, thanks to Mr. Denewar. We got that. I don't know what else we need. Just help us with the little rock, sir. Bye.
All right. Well, thank you for that. And, perhaps a topic not only for the political campaign, but maybe it's one that voters, perhaps not only in one constituency, but maybe across the entire political spectrum. As the call is raised, though, without question, there are a lot of pressing issues. Some we recognize that the candidates have shared have been issues that have been ignored or insufficiently addressed. Maybe there are growing concerns. Perhaps there are other things, but maybe it comes down to us as the electorate, the voters in particular, needing to get more actively engaged, informed, and with a concerted effort and a collective voice, making a meaningful impact. Positivity and productivity can go a long ways. We probably find that we're more successful if we work together for a shared objective. It's a lot easier perhaps to complain. Perhaps it's easier to sit back and watch others do the work, and then you can enjoy the spoils of their labors. But maybe if you get involved together and we share in the toils of our labor, perhaps the success is that much sweeter. Maybe it is our inability or unwillingness or sheer selfishness not to make the sacrifice to serve our country so the future generations will enjoy. But ask ourselves this question: if our parents and their parents before didn't make that sacrifice, would we enjoy what we have today? And if it's bad now and we do nothing to make it better, what would our children and their children's children inherit from the potential loss of beach accesses, to the devalued quality of life, to the homelessness, to the poverty, to all the things that we see transpiring globally? They could be not far from our shores if we don't act collectively, in unison, building a healthier, safer, better society. And as those who come and draw near to us, sharing their experience and expertise, their willingness and their enthusiasm, and their love and their respect, we draw alongside and make it better. Now, it is for all of us. Doesn't mean we'll always agree, but it means that we can disagree respectfully. It doesn't mean that we will have the shared view as to how to get there, but maybe we'd have the shared value as to what it should be like when we do. I invite you to work every day, diligently, deliberately, with a determined and dogged determination to make it even better for each and every one of us. Hey, love, my friend, can go a long ways, from the amorous love to the agape love, and to all that transpires in our days. Work hand in hand to make it better. Respect begets respect. Until tomorrow, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands.